want to thank everybody for coming today. Welcome on this beautiful summer day. Want to recognize a few of our elected officials. We have Kate Toomey, City Councilor. I think everybody else is speaking. Then we have, I got to recognize Lorraine Laurie, who's been a great advocate for this neighborhood for over the years. Welcome, Lorraine. Today is a great day for the city of Worcester and for the people of Union Hill. The Union Hill neighborhood of just 2 or 3 years ago is not the Union Hill of today. I made the revitalization of this neighborhood a priority because I saw a neighborhood that had slid into disrepair. A level 4 elementary school, houses that were forgotten by their owners, some of them dangerously under code, and a growing crime problem were the hallmarks of this neighborhood. What made me hopeful was its proximity to the Canal District and Grafton Street. We have great anchors here, institutions like Worcester Academy, the Senior Center, and the Oak Hill CDC. They are willing and waiting to engage their neighborhood. And of course, there were so many residents who were willing to help make these changes that we're seeing here today. Engaging in the community was imperative to this work. The people of Union Hill live here every day and know the neighborhood better than we do. When we reached out to them in the community health impact assessment, we learned how important pedestrian safety was, how so many people were concerned about their homes and wanted to help build a better neighborhood. The police department and Chief Jim stepped up their patrols and created a community policing district in 2013, and they made their presence known to residents and homeowners alike. ShotSpotter and the vibrant neighborhood crime watch has led to more and more arrests and convictions. The city government alone cannot achieve the goals of our citizens without the commitment, help, and input of our residents. Your calls to every department, whether they be inspectional service to help get a property owner to clear overgrown brush, or the Department of Health to make sure that your apartment is lead-free, it's imperative that our city's residents let us know what is going on in their neighborhoods. In no area more than in public safety is this more evident. Since 2013, almost 1,000 housing units received code inspections throughout 6 planned neighborhood sweeps. If apartments and houses weren't in compliance, our departments worked with landlords to bring them up to code. The road construction that you are seeing around us is phase 1 of our planned street improvements. Resurfaced roadways and new concrete sidewalks and trees will beautify, stabilize, invigorate this neighborhood. All of our neighborhood streets should have trees on them. Worcester Public School Union Hill was seemingly in a free fall, but in the past 2 years has moved from a level 4 to a level 1 school. The due use agreements that we put in place to allow neighbors and their children to use the playgrounds at this school even during non-school hours. For any program or initiative to be successful, the city and the schools must be a partner with the neighborhood. What you have seen in the past 2 years is a whole of government approach to solve the complex challenges that are posed by our changing neighborhoods. This involved putting boots on the ground from every department. Inspectional services, public health, public works, and the Worcester Police Department have dedicated countless hours and millions of dollars to understanding this neighborhood and activating the residents, and making improvements and building relationships. We have moved block by block. So much progress has been made. Owner occupancy is up, and as this neighborhood continues to become a more and more desirable place to live. And when we see people actively looking to invest and move into a neighborhood, we know that our work is becoming evident, not just to those of working in the neighborhood, but to people on the outside looking in. The work is not yet done. To make the changes we have seen to date has taken commitment of the city and the collaboration of many partners. This process began under City Manager Michael Bryan and has continued under City Manager Ed Augustus. Ed has committed CDBG monies to help rehab 9 owner-occupied homes on Providence and Harrison Street. These funds come through our partners like Congressman Jim McGovern. I think that Jim said it best when he said budgets are moral documents. And I know that Ed and I agree with Congressman McGovern. Just as it's immoral to give up on our at-risk kids who are in danger of getting into the life of crime, so too is it immoral for the city to give up its neighborhoods, no matter how difficult or costly it might be to revive and rehabilitate them. This much is clear. When we invest in our city, in our downtown, our commercial corridors, and especially in our neighborhoods, we see returns. And that is what we've seen here today. Every department is seeing, every one of our partners has invested in this neighborhood, and we are seeing the returns on that investment. We know that we have come so far here at Union Hill, but we have a long ways to go yet. As this neighborhood becomes more walkable, safer, and more livable, we continue to look for residents who want to be our partner in the success of Union Hill. There is so much good that we can do together, and I want you to join us in invigorating not only the neighborhoods, but our city as a whole. I want to thank our partners of HUD, Habitat of Humanity, the WBDC, Worcester Academy, and Oak Hill CDC. And I just want to thank this is a great project. Took a few years to do, but you can see the difference right now in this neighborhood. I'd like to introduce the State Senator, Michael Moore, to say a few words. This is district.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here today to celebrate the revitalization of the Union Hill neighborhood. The rebirth of this neighborhood has been a priority of Mayor Petty's for many years, and I'm happy to see his initiative and this initiative coming to fruition. Over the past several years, the city has made significant progress in its effort to ensure the vitality of this neighborhood by investing in key areas to increase public safety and public health. I want to just expand upon that too. The revitalization, they're targeting more than just public safety and public health. And if we're going to look at a neighborhood and consider it a community, which it is, a community of the city of Worcester, Worcester wisely has not only targeted those areas, but they've targeted streets, sidewalks for $2 million, public health and safety for $900,000, housing, code enforcement for $1.3 million, and we've got $3 million for the Union Hill School from the Mass School Building Authority. So they're taking a comprehensive approach to this, to trying to restore and help the neighborhood come back to the vitality and I think what we all expect for the quality of life for the citizens of the city of Worcester, for our communities. These are ongoing and carefully executed investments that will continue to help to bring vitality and desirability for current and future residents alike. I want to commend Mayor Petty, City Manager Augustus, and all the departments who have come here today for adding a breath of life back into this neighborhood. As Mayor Petty said, this is really a community effort from Oak Hill CDC to Worcester Academy to all the departments of the city, and I want to thank them all and for working together in really what I think is going to be a very successful endeavor here in helping restore this neighborhood. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, and once again, thank you, the City Manager.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. With our we couldn't do this without our state delegation, the commitment of Senator Moore, and also State Representative Dan Donahue. Dan's a great advocate of this area. Please welcome State Rep Dan Donahue to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and wow, what a great day to be here to celebrate really something that is multifaceted. We're not talking about just a couple accomplishments we have up here, but really a smorgasbord of victories. We're talking about changes to the housing of this district, infrastructure with the roads you can see right now, crime prevention, new programs with the health assessment, also with the new neighborhood school that's so well turned around. It's great to see so many different victories together. And I really want to first just thank the mayor for his leadership. I was there for his inauguration for his second term when he stood up and he planted the flag right here at the auditorium at Worcester Academy, saying that we're not going to forget this neighborhood and we're going to work with you together to change it. And that's really what we did. And the community that stood up, that came to the meetings, Lorraine Laurie, Sue Moyna, all those neighborhood leaders that showed up and talked and really made this a bottom-up approach. Listening to their concerns, we were really able to make some incredible changes, and particularly with the police and addressing the crime. And we have Officer Sean Lovely here, who never stops working. He's still out there directing traffic, but he's been, along with Mike Kowalczyk, Lieutenant DeAndrea, and the whole community police district, have been absolutely incredible. I want to thank the manager and his team for making sure that the resources were delivered up here. It's a great day to be up here, and I'm so excited to celebrate it, and want to thank everybody for all the hard work.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Our next speaker, who is a great advocate of his district, and no matter what neighborhood it is, I think a great advocate for the city of Worcester, City Councilor George Russell.
I think that was a first Representative Donahue, I think that that was the first time ever that the traffic cop was pointed out in the crowd and got a round of applause. I want to congratulate you for thinking of that. You know, this is what happens when people work together. This is what happens when the mayor, the council, the city manager work together. This is what happens when state government, federal government, and local government work together. This is what happens. This is what happens in this neighborhood. This is what's going to happen throughout the city as we go forward. But hold the applause and hold the accolades, because this is a work in progress. This might be some new pavement. It might be some new blacktop. It might be an awful lot of infrastructure and an awful lot of man hours put into this project from city and from contractors. But this whole effort is an ongoing process, one that'll take us into the future, and I can't wait to do it because it's going nowhere but up from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Our next speaker, someone who I gave my inauguration speech to, and he wrote back very aggressive. And but he's the man who spends the money and gathers all the resources and makes it all happen. And he was very instrumental in trying to get this area, whether it be done with the police, with all the different departments of the city of Worcester. Please welcome Ed Augustus.
I may take longer because now I'm in the shade, so I want to enjoy this as long as possible. You know, a lot has been said about what we're trying to do here, and the theme that runs throughout is partnership. This effort here is a partnership between the neighbors, the people who live here, the stakeholders, Worcester Academy, Oak Hill CDC, Habitat for Humanity that is coming into the neighborhood and adding their good works to our efforts. A partnership between the state government and the federal government and the city of Worcester, and a partnership between all of city departments, whether they be law enforcement, obviously our public safety folks, the police have done a great job kind of creating a presence back here on Union Hill. The city is maintaining our public safety presence on a permanent basis with the Old Providence Street Fire Station, having EMS there. So that is a city-owned building. We've actually just invested a little bit more into that building, maintaining that presence, making sure there's quicker response times for folks in this neighborhood, and making sure that public building is still in use. And then the project that the mayor had talked about, that's revitalizing on these main corridors into this neighborhood, the housing stock, so that you have a very visible sense when you drive into this neighborhood that this is a neighborhood that's going in the right direction. You know, a lot of people know the broken window theory. That's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create a virtuous cycle. As people come in here and say, boy, there's something going on here, I want to be part of that. There's opportunity in this neighborhood. I want to participate in that. And so with the housing programs, with the lead abatement, increasing and improving the housing stock, the facade, you'll get a chance to see when we do the tour, a number of porches and sidings are going to be fixed up along these main corridors, as well as the public infrastructure, the streets, the sidewalks. As part of that, on Etna Street, we're reconnecting sewer lines. And we're also doing our share at the senior center. We put in about $500,000 worth of work in the senior center, with more to come in the future. And our partners at the state level, Senator Moore and Representative Donahue, are too modest. They failed to mention that slated for 2017, and we're trying to move that up, is a $5 million infrastructure project on the corner of Winthrop and Vernon Street. That is going to continue that sense of momentum, that sense of destination when you come to this neighborhood. Wow, something is happening. The city has not forgotten this neighborhood. This neighborhood has a long and proud history in our city, and it has a great future. And I would just leave you with this. When I saw that young boy who was walking up here, that's who we're doing this for. There's a lot of kids who call this neighborhood home. They're growing up in this neighborhood today and tomorrow, and we need to make sure they know they're important to us. They're important to our future as a city. So all of us working together are making sure that their future is as bright and as kind of storied as the past of this particular neighborhood. I would be remiss if I didn't just single out the city departments that were involved in this. They were so key. whether it be the Economic Development Office, who kind of pulled together the funding from CDBG. A lot of folks involved, Mike Trainer's team, Greg Baker, Hung in my office, DPW are critically involved with the infrastructure improvements. Obviously, I mentioned the police department earlier. I want to specifically thank Phil Nidry, who kind of ran point on pulling this together. They did a number of neighborhood meetings here. We had 38 owner-occupied units come forward taking advantage of these programs. So we're improving the housing stock of the people who have not only invested but stayed here in this neighborhood. We're rewarding them for staying here in this neighborhood, for living in this neighborhood, putting down a stake in this neighborhood. And they really pulled all of that together. Code, critically important to make sure that some of the issues that we've been dealing with in this neighborhood are stayed up on top of, that we don't let it get away from us, whether they be dumping or other issues. So it was really an all-hands-on-deck effort by the City of Worcester, and I'm just very, very proud to lead a team of folks in the city that have been able to make this happen today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Our next speaker, who's a great partner in this neighborhood, who allowed me to do my inauguration speech at the Academy, and has really put his time and effort into the neighborhood and really expanding, making this a better neighborhood. So please welcome Ron Sino to the podium.
Just want to begin by thanking the mayor, the city manager, Senator Moore, Representative Donahue, Councilman Russell, and others for including us in their great leadership within this community. The Union Hill neighborhood has a long and proud history, and it's our pleasure as an long-standing institution here to be part of the revitalization of this neighborhood. It takes a long time to build the great partnerships that we're seeing the fruits of today. We're beginning to see the fruits of today, and Worcester Academy is tremendously proud to be part of that. We are committed to improving the quality of life in the Union Hill neighborhood by making significant contributions to education, recreation, housing, safety, and economic development. We've been proud to partner with the Union Hill School and many other organizations serving the community's children to provide educational enrichment opportunities during the school year and throughout the summer. Program developed and delivered by our faculty and students and scholarships provided by the school and its supporters have augmented the excellent work already done by our partner organizations. We recently completed the acquisition of the old St. Vincent's Hospital property. In addition to sharing the use of Morse Field, an award-winning lighted synthetic turf field on the property with our neighborhood residents and neighbors, schools, and community groups, Worcester Academy is currently converting the hospital's generator building into a first-rate performance center that will open later this fall. We have increased the number of faculty living in the neighborhood and have made a commitment to adding new homeowners in our community by donating the 21 Etna Street property for development by Habitat for Humanity in the city. This is our second sponsored Habitat build, and we are excited to have our students, faculty, parents, and alumni contributing to the project in the months ahead. Worcester Academy is committed to this neighborhood, present and future. We will be here throughout, and we are proud to serve as partners to all of the folks working to make this a better community in which to live and work. Thank you again to all the folks at the city. We appreciate being involved.
Thank you, Ron. Our next speaker, really committed to the city of Worcester and his whole organization. We got to know him over the last few years because he's rehabbing houses throughout the city, making the neighborhoods a better place. Please welcome Tim Ferment to the podium, Executive Director of the Habitat of Humanity.
Good afternoon. I want to start out by first thanking Ron Sino. He was in charge of air conditioning for today. Ron, thank you very much for your efforts. 2 for 2? All right. You know, Habitat is blessed. We're blessed to be welcome to this table, to be welcome to this neighborhood. Our mission is very simple. You know, it's putting God's love into action, bringing people to get together, to build homes, community, and hope. So building homes is different than building houses. You know, we're committed to Union Hill for the next 5 years to build home after home after home and help revigorate this neighborhood. Building communities is exactly what everybody's been doing. Mullen's been here for years with the Oak Hill CDC. A lot of other people have been. We're new to the table, as I said, but we're also committed. As you go down Harrison Street, we're going to start out with our first project. We also do a program called A Brush with Kindness. And A Brush with Kindness is exactly that. We do exterior work on a house that's family owned. We help them paint the outside. We help them landscape the outside. We help them improve their image. And by that, lift that family and lift the neighborhood. That's a project that's going to be happening here in September. The volunteers are going to be each and every one of us. It's going to be Worcester Academy and their Habitat chapter. It's going to be the alumni. It's going to be city workers, and it's going to be neighbors. It's going to be each and every one of us. The next and the biggest project, I think Ron talked to it earlier. I'll pause here for a second. Did Ron time that? Did you time that, Buzz? The bigger project is the property that was donated to us by Worcester Academy. 21 Etna Street is the property directly across their entry, their gate. And Ron and I met 3 years ago, and we talked about doing something together. And we talked about taking a house and rehabbing it. We're going to do better. We're going to be tearing down the houses there and building a brand new duplex. A duplex that has two-bedroom families for affordable housing within this neighborhood, and a state-of-the-art house, as we always do. The last house we built was LEED certified. We do Energy Star. We make sure it's right. So when you couple A Brush with Kindness and you couple it with new home builds, and then you commit to 5 years in a neighborhood, that's going to be multiple houses. Now, we're a grassroots organization, and that means that every penny starts with every new project. Thanks to the city, we're able to access community development block grant money, and the funders and foundations of Worcester came to our rescue. They're backing us, they're helping us do this project, they're helping us with A Brush with Kindness, and that's how the next 5 years are going to look, and hopefully longer. So we thank you for, again, inviting us. We thank you for the leadership that this community has, and we thank you for being part of Habitat. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, that's going to wrap up the speaking part of the program, but I do want to thank all our partners. And as elected officials, we have a responsibility to improving the quality of life, not in just this neighborhood, but in the city in general. And this is what this is all about. But with that, we can lose the jackets. And oh, geez, how could I forget Mullen Sawyer? Oh, I'm sorry. That's the luck. Mullen, who is a great advocate here for the neighborhood and for the city of Worcester in general. Please welcome Mullen Sawyer, Executive Director of the Oak Hill CDC. Sorry, Mullen.
No,
Apologies.
not at all. Not at all. Good afternoon. It's so great to be with you. Normally, I forget Senator Moore when I do speaking engagements, because when you work so closely with folks and they're always right next to you, you're not really thinking about that they're supposed to speak too. I had lots of words that I thought about sharing today, but as I look out, I see so many friends. And we're friends because we're committed to moving a neighborhood forward. And I have friends in the police department like Sean over there. I have friends in the code department like Amanda and her great staff. And in economic development with Mike Trainer, and housing, Greg Baker and Miguel Rivera, and Hung in the city manager's office, Tim, really everybody. Jim, I see you not looking at me while I talk. There we go. He's full attention. What I want to say is that you could be judged by the company that you keep. And 2 years ago, when crime started to really increase, this is the epicenter of crime for Worcester right here. Ooh, I see all the notes of all the good things I could talk about that we didn't get to. But this was the epicenter of crime right here on Harrison and Providence. So when the city said, we want to make a difference, but we don't want to make it just about crime and public safety. We want to change a neighborhood permanently, so that as we do this, people can set in deep roots and feel pride in their neighborhood and really get busy about doing the rest of what we have to do. So the city has been extraordinarily generous in going from 5 strategy investment areas to just this. and to look at it comprehensively, holistically. We have the code department helping us with problem properties. You know, sometimes when you have gang members in a unit, it destroys all the economics and they're very difficult to move along. But when you have the code department and the fire department and the police department, and maybe even me making a phone call to the owner, you kind of get a team approach and it tends to work. So 2 years ago, we didn't have a plan. We didn't know what investment would make a difference and stabilize. And Oak Hill CDC went through the neighborhood and talked to every business owner, every organizational partner we have, like Worcester Academy, Girls Inc., the city, and all our funders. We talked to the youth. We talked to people on the street. And they all said that they really like this neighborhood. There's a tradition here, and they'd like to be able to stay. But we're at a crossroads, and we all recognize that if you can't put your kids in a good school and have your grandmother in an apartment that's safe and have parking and amenities and good quality of life, why would you choose to live there? So these are the things that these partners, these friends, these organizations are bringing here for us. But it's not that they're just handing a hand out. They're part of the process that rebuilds a neighborhood from the bottom up, that we can all take pride in, that we can all grow in and prosper. So to the next 2 years of prosperity, may you all be enriched through your activities. Thank you.
Okay, I think we can wrap it up now. Save the best for last. Thank you, Mullen. And so we've got Mike Trainer, I think, is going to lead us on the walk over to Province and Harrison Street. So anybody want to come for a tour, you're more than welcome. I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I think this is a great investment. You're going to see marvelous work done out of here. Thank you.